hold ourselves accountable to a time,
but not content at all.
No. And also the fact that nobody else knows, like nobody's waiting. Let's put it this way. There's like been no show. Nobody knows what's up.
That's true. I did put it in a group though. So if they want to come, they can.
Well, no, I understand that, but nobody's going like, oh, it's 1 o'clock. They're late. Like nobody knows
ever done happening. That. Nobody has ever done that. You're right.
I think they have, but we have no.
You killed it in them.
What? We killed it in them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was like they came up too many times going like, what happened if they're gone? So
we do have one. Hi, one watcher.
It was probably a mistake.
No, they're probably like, what? I think it's my friend Lauren. I told her to watch because I was like, nobody ever does.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Lauren, she's my new friend. And she's adorable.
Good Lord.
And she's mad at herself. She's mad at herself for sneaking a snack that she shouldn't have had. And I was just like, but we have to be nice to ourselves too. Oh. This group that I'm in, okay, I'm just going to start. Well, I guess we should start.
Okay, go ahead and start.
Now we have 2 watchers and I don't want to get crazy.
All right, go start.
Do we even know what number this is?
Oh, hi. No, we don't.
I'm not going to even.
You know why we don't know what number it is? Because I don't think you have published the last episode.
I know, I haven't.
So then that's the thing. Hi, Chrisella. There's people who are waiting for the episode we recorded in February.
Oh, right. Melissa got a new job. I'm so happy for her.
I know. You told me about that too. But all I'm saying is that we are recording this and nobody has gotten the last episode.
Right. Okay. Well, then all right.
I don't even know what episode it was. 260. No, 360.
Oh,
460. Oh, holy crap.
460.
460 something, wasn't it? Or 480, 430. Oh, no. 414.
Yeah. I was like 60 would have been 2 years from now.
Yeah. So this is 415.
Okay. All right. Ready?
Wait, you have to record.
Oh, shit. You're right.
Oh, my God.
I'm out of practice. I'm sorry. I have to hit the record button so that John has something to do. Which I believe he has stopped invoicing me for. If you have done that, John, you can invoice me. I'm not afraid.
Okay.
I'm not afraid.
Are we ready? 5, 4.
Wait.
3.
No.
Okay.
No, because I just pulled the thing up. Okay, wait. 40. Okay, now I'm ready.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Press record.
It says there's a problem with audio hardware settings. Shit.
Good.
Hold on.
Okay. I stopped.
Why are my AirPods disabled? Oh, because the input. Sorry, Elsie. Now I feel like you're getting impatient. You don't even care about this fucking show.
No. It's my eyes are getting impatient. Not for any other reason than they're tired.
Test. All right. I'm ready. Ready, 3, set,
2, 1. Press record.
Okay.
Done
it. Okay.
All right.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 415 of the She Podcast. I am your co-host, Jessica Kupferman. With me as always, the sort of sleepy, actually, Elsie Escobar. You're sleepy today. Your eyes are tired, huh?
My eyes are tired. Yeah.
They look very awake and bright, as usual.
Thanks.
They do. Thanks. You look full of wide-eyed disbelief like a child. True. That's all fake, by the way.
My insides are exhausted. Yeah. I don't know what it was. Like, I believe I had a pretty decent night's sleep, but it's the morning part of it all. It feels like I'm waking up going, oh, and I'm not sure what's going on.
Exhausting. I mean, you can see by my eyes that I'm clearly, I always have this. Actually, this one's getting a little better, but I'm always got like the dark circle, haven't slept. And I slept pretty good. But it's never enough, Elsie. It's never, ever enough. It can never be enough sleep. I feel like I would have to you know what I'd have to do? That little bungalow that I stayed with you.
Oh, yeah.
There. I'd have to rent it for a week and just not leave it.
The yurt. You need to go in the yurt.
My secret yurt. Yeah.
I think I need to go earthing.
Okay. I think I know what that is. So let me tell you what I think it is, and then you tell me if I'm right.
Oh, okay.
Is earthing when you just walk around the earth barefoot to sort of like ground yourself?
I think that is one of the definitions. Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. That I wanted to do that.
What about forest bathing? Do you do that? I know you do.
Oh my god, Jess. So there is you know how beautiful it is around here, right?
I do. It's
Okay.
fantastic.
So there is a little area that Rand took us. Like he would take the kids, but it was the first time that I've ever gone with them when they went to the creek or something. I don't
Mhm.
know what he calls it. And it is you have to walk through. So you have to walk in for about 10 minutes, like through trees and stuff. Like there's a path, but you have to also be aware, right?
Mhm, mhm,
And you
mhm.
get in there and it's just like a cascade of water and rocks,
Ooh,
and it's
sounds
like
pretty.
it is amazing. I mean, when you go in there, it is cold, first of all, but
I have a feeling you're not defining bathing the same way I am, but go ahead. So you got
no,
in the
yeah,
water?
we got in the water and
Yeah.
it was amazing. The kids were playing, and there's ways that you can actually ride the current when it's not too
So
much.
fun.
And I sat at the top when the water was just going, and there's like
Mhm.
it rushes all over your body. And I remember going, and then I laid back, and it was on like there's moss all over the
Oh,
rocks,
how
and there's like
nice.
water going. And I remember just the elation that it gives you
Yeah,
this like
yeah.
life. It was like when I left, I felt so invigorated and alive, and it was amazing. And it was cold. So it wasn't like, I was wearing like long sleeve bathing shirt and stuff because it was
Yeah.
cold. But
Um,
what a
so
place, man.
my friend Toby from camp does forest bathing like tours kind of. So basically what it is just kind of like bathing yourself in the sounds and the light and the
Mm,
atmosphere of the forest. You took it
mm,
slightly more literally, although I'm sure that counts.
mm.
But yeah, forest bathing is just walking in the forest and like sort of like letting yourself like ingest the extra air
Yeah.
and the whatever. Um, yeah, it's pretty nice. And I grew up near Cunningham Falls, which is you can climb to the top, but you can't really. I guess you could lay down, but you would probably fall and kill yourself. Um, but it is really nice. I know I miss those types of experiences. Hopefully, I'll be able to do more of them soon. Like go to the forest and not die. That'd be awesome.
I do have to, I mean, I want to go outside. I mean, you know my backyard now. You know where I live, so I can
You
really
basically
just
are
go
outside.
outside.
There's very little between you and outside. In
Yeah.
fact, if one good storm, and I'd say you're living in that carport outside your house.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I can really just go barefoot outside and
Yeah, it's really good for you
be
to
outside.
do that, right? Because it
Yeah.
helps you acclimate to the local produce or something. Like if you eat local produce and keep your
Yes,
feet
it is
in the
amazing.
mud where you live, it's supposed to make your immunity
Absolutely. It's the best.
adapt to whatever's yeah. All right.
I
So that's
love
good.
that. I have to do it.
So for those of you listening and or watching, you can tell by now that we're not talking about podcasting today. And
No. Do we ever?
no, but part of that reason today specifically is because we sort of have like an announcement to make. Well, I guess it's not really an announcement. It's sort of a foregone conclusion, I guess. So Elsie, as we discussed earlier, she made an announcement that she was going to be stepping back from the leadership of She Podcast. And also that kind of means she doesn't want to do this podcast anymore. We will still we're going planning on doing a podcast together sooner, like not in a year, but like, like as soon as this one's over, we're gonna do that one.
Sooner. Sooner.
I really do miss like one thing, like I don't care how
Sooner.
we do it, but I desperately miss podcasting with her. Well, we
Mm.
haven't been able to. And we haven't been able to because I had surgery on the 14th. I had bariatric surgery. Yeah, I guess we have a couple announcements.
And that's huge. I mean, that's a huge
yeah.
announcement. That's not like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
you got your
Just
tonsils
casually
out.
throw it in there like it's not happening, right? Like Jim
Yeah.
Parsons just like, oh yeah, well I'm gay anyway, right? Like, remember that? Like he came out and it was like the most casual thing. Like he just was like a side note, I'm gay, but also, but yeah. So I had bariatric surgery on the 14th, and we can talk about that. But yeah, we haven't been able to do it in a while, and with bariatric surgery, even though it's only been like like a couple weeks, like I am feeling a strong need, which is why I had it, to shed parts of my identity. And some part of me thought that podcasting was part of that, and I don't think that's true, at least not yet. Um I am having a hard time letting go of this podcast because we've done it for 10 years. And
Mhm.
She Podcasts is a title that does allow for topic conversion.
Yes.
But if you go to our first episode and it's like, so why do women podcast? Right.
Mhm.
And now we're just like, let's talk about literally anything else. So it's confusing, right? Like, I don't know. Elsie says I gave her a name for the new podcast. Do you remember what it was? 1, 2, 3 with J and E. Now you're muted, my love.
Oh,
There
sorry.
you
I
go. It's
cleaned
okay.
the I cleaned
I
it, but I
saw.
think
I
I
saw.
didn't clean it very well. I think I
I saw.
don't think
You're
I
like,
did a good job cleaning. Sorry.
yeah.
I'm going to see if I can not run it.
So, like, well, while she's doing that, you have to understand, it's not like we're going anywhere. Like she works for Libsyn. She's in charge of their community and a lot of their content. And I think if she's making that much podcasting content, it's sort of like, then she has to come on here and like watch me not take it seriously, not go on script, not go by the things, go completely off topic, make jokes, make fun of her. I'm sure it's exhausting to try and do anything serious with me, which is why we're going to try something slightly less serious, but still fun, right? Because Elsie, one great thing about Elsie, and actually something we have in common, is that we go through these like sometimes short, sometimes longer bursts of mini obsessions. And so
ADHD, baby.
maybe that's what it should be called, mini obsessions.
That's a good one.
And
Write
like
that down, people. Write that
and like
down.
I would much rather talk to her about her mini obsessions than anything that's going on with like Sirius XM, Spotify, Libsyn, Buzzsprout, whatever. That is way more fun for me
Mhm.
to talk about with her, especially as we get to a certain age and things are changing. And like, I want to be able to, I don't want to do the next like midlife crisis podcast, but like I do like navigating stuff we find and why it's useful. And, maybe it'll relate to people, maybe it won't. But anyway, so I'm not saying we should like discuss and vote or anything. I'm just saying I if this is the last episode, that's fine. But so much has happened in these last 10 years to both of us that like I'm having a hard time letting go of it, I guess. Like it'll always be out there, but when it's not active,
Yeah.
it's sort of, there's like a podcasting graveyard. It'll go to the graveyard.
It does, but it is a legacy. I mean, it's a legacy of lots of work and time and I get it. I
And
think that I've
pressure,
been
stress.
like, mulling over I vote no. What does that mean? I
We're
vote
still gonna
no.
do another one though. Like I'm saying, like we're not just gonna cancel the one. We're gonna do a new one that's mostly what this is like, but with less podcasting conversation. I mean, maybe it'll still be in there, but she does a lot of that already. Like
Yeah.
she's really into the conversation. And even though I'm still gonna be in the podcasting industry, I'm gonna be much less in the conversation that I'm in right now. Like, well, we'll see. It's hard to explain, I guess.
I just
But
yeah. Oh wait, I have to cough. 1 second.
mhm. Thank you for letting us all know she's got a cough.
Well,
Yeah, we're not voting.
yeah,
Oh,
no,
that's why she
exactly.
said
No, but I think the thing is that I am I think that my focus and my desires to talk about things don't have to do with podcasting as it pertains to you.
that. Mhm.
Conversations about goats, says Patrick. And I have
Oh.
shed, like, I've gone through the mourning process, not even mourning, like, identity introspection of sitting through what all of these things mean for me, and I sit with it a lot.
When did
Like
you
it's
do that?
for gosh, for over a year. I've been sitting kind of thinking through feelings and like what
Mhm.
matters to me and things like that. But primarily, like I told you, Jess, it was really the catalyst are my kids.
No, I know.
Like, so the catalyst to all of that was my kids, because all I kept saying is, and even when I was doing my talk over at She Podcasts, where I mentioned that one of the mantras that I say like every day is to orient,
Is what would Jesus
especially
do?
like,
Sorry, I'm just kidding.
no.
No,
So
that's
that
like
it
the
is like
last thing she would
the ability to orient, like, so I've been really thinking through. There's no way that we can tell people or have people make choices for them. Like, you can't just say, like, this is good for you. You do this. Like, the person, you, Jess, just made a decision for yourself.
which is
I'm
what?
sure to have
Don't
bariatric
tell me your hand.
surgery, for
Oh,
God's sake.
yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah, okay.
So that was not a decision that you made on a whim.
No, that's probably what I was thinking about when you were thinking about doing this show.
Exactly. So then
About
it's
that.
about
Yeah.
this, like, you sort of, it's the orientation towards that. So the way that I was framing it is orient yourself to the light. And it's what I've been praying for my child, like my Maymay, because she's, I'm always like, let this kid just
Right.
aim herself towards
Peace.
this direction.
I used to just pray for peace, that her brain would have peace and quiet so that she could make rational decisions. That's what I
Yeah.
think. That's what I feel like they're
It's like,
missing is they have too
in
much chaos.
yeah, and so in that
They're
respect,
settled.
that's what I'm saying. Like, and part of it is like you do that, you sort of like pray for it, you meditate on it, and you also do things. Like,
Yeah, right. Move
I
towards
also
it.
have to have the intention and the mindset and the capacity and the attention span and
All that shit.
all of the things that go along with being able to support that process. And so I did look in the same way that you were talking about shedding and letting go of things. I looked at the stuff that for me wasn't necessarily in alignment with what I needed to do here energetically for my family. And so that's what happened.
Right.
And so, yeah, and it wasn't part of my identity. I don't, it's so weird thinking back, and I'm sure we can hear ourselves say the exact opposite, especially myself. I always thought I would be ride or die, hashtag podcaster forever. Like,
Did you?
yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a massive part
Well, wait
of
a minute.
my
How can
identity.
you say you're not though? You still are on some level. You're just
Well, no,
it's
no,
just
no, no.
different.
You have to understand that there's a difference between what you do and who you are. I identified with being a
That's interesting.
podcaster first. That was how I entered a room. Like, that's what I'm a podcaster. I'm a podcaster, right? And as I was before, I was a yoga teacher. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm a yoga therapist. I'm a yoga, like that. And then it became what I did, not who I was. And so now I don't want that. I don't want that.
Mm.
I podcast. I am not necessarily what I would lead into being like, I'm
Okay,
a
so when you walk in
podcaster,
a
ride or
room
die.
when
I
you
do
walk in
it.
a room, what are you now?
That's what I'm in the process of trying to figure that out.
Content creator, maybe?
Content creator is what I'm leaning towards, actually. More creative, more director of content, director of community, director of conversations,
Mhm.
and more towards the creation of things. Like, I love audio and video and writing things down, like physically, not writing as in like a novel, but like physically handwriting stuff and things like that. That's what
Yeah.
I am allowed. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Similarly, yeah, I had this surgery knowing that it would force me to make some very specific identity changes, and there are 2 that I'm having a hard time letting go of. One is being your partner in crime, which and actually the things I don't know that there are things that I'm not ready to let go of until they come up. So this came up for me where you were like, "Nope, let's end," and I was like, "Oh, wait, I don't know that I can do that yet." Like, the other thing is, like, I'm learning that I mean, I could have guessed that I had a shopping addiction because I just love, like, one way I used to soothe myself by being fat is by buying new clothes and things that were soft and comfy or things that were glittery and fancy. And, like, of course, I could still buy clothes if I wanted to, but I have no idea what size I am, and I will not know for a long time. So, like, it's like I have every gorgeous plus sized website for clothing bookmarked. Everything I've ever wanted to wear, at least 130 websites that I can't necessarily. I mean, I can go on them. Obviously, they have smaller sizes than what I was, but like, but why? Why would I even buy a 1X or an XL when I don't know where I'm going to end up? If I end up there, fine. But it's stupid to spend money on that. And I find myself kind of, and actually I was having another conversation with someone recently who's also a lovely fluffy girl, and I was like, wow, I'm not sure I'm ready to give up that whole I'm cute and fluffy identity. Like, I have a large amount of confidence around the identity of being fluffy and cute. And so when there's no fluff, I'm just going to be bony and cute, I guess. Or, like, or am I going to have a hard time losing the last 40 pounds because I'll still have some fluff and like I can't let go of that part of me.
You know,
Do you know what
that's
I
like
mean?
that's something that I had. I can't remember who. There was some kind of some, not a creator as in like that's all they were, but there was a conversation around somebody, an artist, actor, right, whatever, that was bigger and lost a bunch of weight. And then
Yeah.
after they got into whatever their new body was, their ability to move beyond their identity as a bigger person took
Mhm.
almost longer than the weight loss.
I don't know who you're talking about, but the person that comes to mind is Rebel Wilson because she was like
Mm.
Fat Amy in Pitch Perfect. And
Mhm.
then what took a year, lost all this weight. And actually, then she started a clothing company that only went up to XL, and her fans were fucking furious because she used to have a clothing company that was
Yeah.
plus size only. And it's
Yeah.
like, how can you make clothes that we can't fit into now, you
Yeah,
bitch? What the
that's
hell?
that's a big identity shift. But
I
no,
mean,
but
yeah.
but the whole point was that the person, I remember going, they had to work through the mindset and that the psychological or whatever emotional issues that they were working through got
Mhm.
stuck with the bigger identity and didn't, like, they didn't let go of that. Like, they thought, oh, I'm gonna feel better now that my body is this way, but they
Yeah.
had stayed in the loop of everything that was around the larger bodied experience of life.
Right. Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's
was
body
very intrigued by
dysmorphia.
that.
I think that's body dysmorphia, but it also comes with, yeah, identity crisis. And I've had plenty of those. Like, I'm done. I would like to be done having, like, I had an identity crisis when my daughter died because I was just like, well, who am I supposed to be now if I'm not taking care of
Yeah.
her 24 hours a day?
No, I know that that's what happened with you.
Yeah.
That
I
was
don't,
the biggest thing for you. I mean, it was really big.
and then I decided I'm going to be this event planner, and it was wildly successful. And I was like, this feels right. And then there was a pandemic and then another identity crisis, like for the last 4 years of like all my plans going to shit. And who am I supposed to be now that didn't work out after I poured everything into it? And it just ended 2 months ago. So I'm like shedding all of that along with the weight is like disappointment, regret, failure, hurt, like all the stuff that I wanted for myself that I'm not going to get because of circumstance. And that I ate myself through it and killed my health. So,
Mm. Oh.
Patrick
Oh,
said
thank you, Patrick.
live so you can see it. He says, I'm so feeling all this. I just love you too, no matter what you do.
Oh, it's like, I think that part of
Let's just chalk it
all
up
of
to old.
it's, I mean, in
Joking.
something that
Sorry.
has been unwavering, I think, for me, even from when I was little, is that I always knew who I was. Like there was a sense of like core Elsie. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
there is. Yeah, if you
No
know it,
matter
you can recognize it, which
y-
I
yeah, I feel it. Like I feel
yeah.
it inside and then I'm like, I'm done. And there's the a weird neurodivergent sense of self, aka Aquarius, which is when you find something that you're done with. Oh, oh, good. That I've been when I find that I'm done with something, I'm done. Like it's over. Like
Yeah.
this is a non, let me explain to you a non personal.
No, I totally
No, no,
get
no.
it.
I'm going to give you right now a non, yeah, like a non human or thing, right? That I get attached to. So I'm sure most folks have heard me for the past over a decade just gush over my love of Castro, the podcast app. I mean, I
Oh my gosh, do
loved
not
that
wanna
app.
tell me you're
That
done,
app
but yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
my favorite app in the whole world. Like I was in that app all day, every day.
Mhm.
It was everything to me. And honestly, it was like ode to Castro, Castro, Castro.
Oy,
I
and
talked about my
then
love. And then they were sold.
mm,
And then their website went dark and there are all these databases things that happened with it and it it took the like the everything that I had attached to this app was then disappeared. I
mhm,
could not do what I did. So instead of the morning process, I cut it off. I was like,
mhm.
what's next? And now I'm like, I don't even open the app anymore. And when did it happen? 24 hours. Because why? I have no time for that.
Right, right. I
I'm
know
done.
sometimes it does
It's over.
happen in a blink, right? It does happen when you're like, you're not expecting it to happen, but all of a sudden you just don't do the thing that you did. Sometimes I'm like that with companies where not just Castro because it was sold, but like actual stuff like Chick-fil-A, where all of a sudden I learned that they aren't doing this or don't do that. And then I just am like, well, never again. That's enough. But I know what you mean. That's not necessarily your identity, but it's a huge part of like your being until it's
Yeah,
not.
no, I had a literally like I love those guys. Like I mean, it was like emotional and then I realized that's a mirror of sometimes when I'm done with a thing, I'm done with a thing. Like
Mhm,
I don't sit there and mourn about it. I don't like get sad about it. I mean, I will in some ways, I will mourn it. But
mhm,
I think that probably comes from the fact that I mean, as a kid, I had to leave an entire country and we had to leave our family. And there was
mhm.
so you have to let go. So you are, as a kid, I remember going like, I had to sell my toys, which is I, ca- I had to sell my toy, like all of
Like
my,
your mom made you?
yes, we sold everything we owned.
When? You mean
When
like
we
when you
moved
left?
from El Salvador,
Oh, okay, yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well,
So
yeah.
we,
What are you gonna do with it? You can't take it with you.
exactly. But what I'm saying is like, we had
Yeah.
to sell it, you
And you
know?
had to go somewhere where you didn't know if you'd ever get another toy again or what the fuck was gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow, I
yeah.
never thought of that. That must have been scary as shit.
So, I mean, it wasn't necessarily
Aw, little
scary,
Elsie selling her things.
but it's like
Sad
it
time.
wasn't scary, it was sad. It was like
What do you
you
mean?
didn't have time to mourn it, and I remember my mom being very specific, and I don't know if this was the case, but the way that I heard it was, "You get to keep one."
I was gonna say, could you at least I was just gonna ask, could you at least keep one?
I have it.
What is it?
I have him. I sleep with him every day. I
What is
still
it?
sleep with him.
Maybe I don't wanna see. I mean,
You don't
if
wanna see him? I'll see
it's
him. I'll show
42
him.
years old.
You talk, and I'll show you.
Okay, okay, okay. All right. It's funny that she's even doing this because Isaac has toys and he wants to know like if I still have my favorite toys from when I was young and what they were. I don't know what happened to my toys from when I was young. I mean, I can only assume that when my mom passed away, everything got packed up and moved out. Like I did it myself. So, here, a
Hold on
bear,
1 second.
a bear in overalls, no less.
I
Is he
know,
wearing
I have him,
overalls?
like, this is
He
my
is
little
wearing
guy.
Wait, are those new overalls though?
Yes, these are new overalls. I did.
They
I put
look
the
like
clothes on.
42-year-old overalls, is all I'm saying.
I got this little guy when I turned 8, and it was my first communion. This was a first communion gift, and I still
He's
have
really
him.
cute. Mhm.
I
He's
love
very
him.
cute.
And that was the only toy I got a chance to bring with me from El Salvador. So this to
Yeah.
me is like I was very attached, like I am very attached to this little guy.
Mhm.
You know, it's like it means so much to me because it's the only thing that I've had for so long. And it's anyway, all that to say, when I'm done with shit, I'm done with stuff. Like, oh my God, what the hell? How did I get to that toy? Oh, because of me letting go. So I had to get used to let go of stuff that was important and meaningful.
Right, but stuff isn't the same as like a part of you. Like, I'll give you an example. What if you got in some kind of weird forest accident and had to chop your hair off to like a boy's haircut?
Yes, I have
That
thought
would be
about
taking some getting used to, dude.
it would take me a while. I have to say I have a lot of my identity stuck into
In your hair.
my hair.
And even your looks, right? Like, what if like not to not to even remotely imply that you're vain, but you are clearly a good-looking person, and a lot of your identity is wrapped up into that as well, because it's how you maneuver through life is either enhancing or avoiding people noticing that,
Yeah.
right? I mean, just
Eh?
from what we've discussed, when you're ridiculously, incredibly good looking, as what's his name would say, from that movie. Help me. Derek Zoolander. Zoolander. He's the model, and he's like, I can't help it if I'm just ridiculously good looking. That's you. You're ridiculously good looking. So I know
Well,
that you go through, like, if you're on public transportation, you like hide so nobody will talk to you. And like when you're on the red carpet, of course, it all comes out in glittery glory, but
it
like,
is like it is. Yeah, there is a
when you're
absolutely. You are who you are in the same way that I'm sure anybody that has a thing that you're stuck that not you're stuck with that stuff that you have that
yeah,
you've always been that thing. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm actually a little scared of going back to that. I haven't been hit on. I've been invisible for
Oh,
years.
I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
I have been
Yeah, yeah.
invisible to the opposites, for years and years and years. And I think both of us, I think Scott and I both are a little. He's like, I can't wait to see guys hit on you. And I'm like, what's your name again? Because I know you're a jealous motherfucker. Don't act like you want to see that happen. You who
Oh,
will lose his
hi
damn mind.
Bree. How
And
are
that's
you,
what's gonna
Bree?
happen. Hi, Bree.
Hi,
Bree
Bree.
Campano.
How's your heart? Lovely. I hope that your heart's okay.
Hi,
Um,
Rita.
hi,
Oh,
Rita.
Rita. She just announced on Facebook she had just had bariatric surgery a couple months before me.
It's
Um,
yeah, it's like it's a big change, but I think that those are the identity things that I think that we all need to look through and figure out when you're done and when you're not done. And you're right. There is a lot of who we are that's wrapped into how the world, and this is something that I do with the people that do the e-league at times. This is
really?
some of the work that we do is you have to write down, and this I learned from Erica Learmark. Erica did this exercise way back when, one of the very, very first times that I worked with her,
Mhm.
and it impacted me because just doing that exercise was the stepping
What's the
stone
exercise?
of what I wanted. So the exercise that we do now in the e-league or people that work with me that are having an identity crisis of sorts is
Mhm.
I have them write down what are the labels that the world calls you, like every single
Mhm.
label that the world calls you, the names. It could
No.
be as simple as
Yeah.
mother, um sister,
Hoe
whatever.
bag.
No, yeah, but like when people look at you and they name you something, like put that down, and it can be from personal, physical,
Yeah.
professional, and then you write down all the labels that you call yourself, and you write all of those down in another list, and
Uh-huh.
then you write a list of the labels that you see on those two lists that you're ready to let go of, like the things you don't want
Wow.
to be
Okay.
anymore. that you don't want the world to call you anymore. And so when I did this exercise the very first time is
Mhm.
when I found out I didn't want the world to call me yoga teacher anymore. And
Yes.
so
You
when
were
I
master
but
yogi.
it took me a long time
It did.
to let go of the identity around that. Like I didn't want the world to call me that, but I identified so much with being a yoga teacher that
Yeah.
I wasn't ready. Like it took me forever to like do that. In fact, that's why my moniker always used to be Yogeek because that's who I was.
Right.
And it took me so long to change my handles on social to my name because I was afraid to let it go. But the minute that I
Yeah.
did it, I felt so good, but it was really scary and it still gave me nervous. Like it made me so nervous and it gave me a lot of anxiety to do it because I didn't know if I was doing it. But once I did it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's totally that. Of course. So I let it go. Right. That said, though, now I'm refining the yogic side of myself. And so
That's interesting.
I'm I'm leaning towards the things I didn't want the world to call me again. So that teaches me
Hmm.
it's cyclical
Or
in
that it never
nature.
really left. You just became disinterested and reinterested or deprioritized and then reprioritized. Or maybe it
Yeah,
was a part of your identity. You just didn't want it to be your whole identity, which is
exactly.
different, right?
Exactly. Yes. And I
Yeah.
think that the key to that was the fact that every time anybody would introduce me or talk about me, they were saying like, Elsie, that yoga teacher, that yoga girl. And I was
Yeah.
like, no, there's a lot more to me than that. And
Yeah.
and here's the other exercise that was huge for me in doing that labels exercise. You have to now write what you want the world to call you. And
Oh,
so
that's
I had to
yeah,
sit there
true.
and I wrote down what I wanted. What I chose the label that you call me. And that's where the
Well,
whole
I call
mentor
you
and
whatever I
ad
want.
okay. Yes, you do. But that's where the whole mentor and advocate came from. It came from who's going to call me that?
Right,
Who's
right.
going to
If
call
you
me a
don't
podcast advocate? What the
pundit
hell?
was what
What
you
it
used. Pundit.
pundit? No, no, no. But the advocate part is the one that I wanted, is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I know. Oh, yeah.
Advocate. I wanted
Okay.
it to be a podcasting advocate. And using that was like, who does that? What even is that? So I would just start to say it. I'm
Yeah.
a podcast advocate. And now it's so much easier for people to say that
Yeah.
and make the me come up in the mix of that. A mentor is better for me but who nobody gave me that. I claimed those titles for myself.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah, and I'm actually speaking of that, I'm trying to be very careful and strategic. Like I haven't posted on regular Facebook that I've had bariatric surgery, although I've just said it in the group and I've now said it on YouTube and LinkedIn and wherever else this is streaming. I also said it on TikTok. Why I'm afraid to say it on Facebook, I have no idea. Probably because that's where I have the biggest and the closest audience to me, like all my family and friends and stuff. And I don't want to be health guru Jessica Kupferman because that's fucking ridiculous. Like, let's just be honest. Like,
nobody's
no
gonna
matter
think.
what,
Do you think that
because
that's
because it does for a small amount of time, it does take over your personality. Like, if we were gonna do the 3 things that we're obsessed with this week, for right now, it would have to be pureed food, like fat-free cheese, and like, do you know what yes, you read a thing. I didn't post it for 5 months, but I talked about it other places because all of it, I don't want questions. I don't want to be told it's going to ruin my health. It might. I don't want I don't want to go through my entire medical history or process because it's not, like I'm very bored by these subjects still, even if it is taking over the domination of my current, like, preoccupational thought. It's
Mhm.
not interesting to me. Like, I also have days where I wake up and I don't even want to eat because the thinking about it is exhausting. So much so, yeah, see that there's my friend Lauren. She says it's my whole identity at the moment. It is. And
Yeah.
I think that's why so many people, my husband included, was like, when I was done with this, I thought about helping other people through the process. Well, yeah, that's because there's no standardized process. Everyone's is different. What they can eat and when is totally different. But also because it's so severe that you have to think like it's so severe, like first the surgery, but then also like if I don't get enough protein or water, like how long will it be before I die? Okay, then I need to
Mm.
have this much a day, this much a day, this much a day. Otherwise, my hair will shrivel up, my eyeballs will, and I'll just everything will pop out and die. So like, it is kind of my identity right now, and I don't want it to be that.
Yeah.
I still want to be, who I normally am, which is funny and whatever else that goes with.
You know,
Technically savvy and funny and what? Always looking for my major, I guess.
yeah, I
Yeah,
like how
yeah,
Patrick, he says I am struggling with my
struggling.
relationship with food right now, and I think that this is an overall issue that comes up with bigger bodied people and smaller bodied people as well.
Mhm.
It is a huge, and it is absolutely time consuming what you all have gone through and will continue to go through,
Yeah.
because it is every single part of your life. And I feel that there are parallels, just from
Yeah,
what
there
you're
of
going through
course, of
physical
course.
with my kid right now. Like, it consumes
Interesting.
every layer of my consciousness, every moment. It's moment to moment.
Right. But
It
also,
is
are you even
day to
interested in
day.
psychology? You've sort of been thrown into that, right?
Right.
Whereas like I wasn't struggling as much with it with my daughter because I am actually mildly interested. I'm like an amateur psychologist, if you can say that. Like that stuff's actually rather interesting to me. Where like, yeah, if you were having an issue with health and food, I mean, hell, you already know what
Yeah, no,
it's your
you're
thing.
right. And I
Yeah.
think that there is a benefit, like you're right. There is that sense of, if it has to do with, I've been studying wellness and nutrition and diet and mindfulness and all of those things for
Mhm.
years. So,
Yeah.
and
Ayurvedic
I had,
medicine and
right.
fucking
And
drink your own pee and whatever.
I've done, yeah,
Not
I've
you.
done my work. I mean, I'm
Wait,
not
have
saying
you
I'm
drank your
perfect.
own pee though?
I haven't yet.
Why do you say yet? Are you planning on drinking your pee?
I'm not saying no.
I I both desperately want to know and never want to know when it happens.
Okay.
I cannot decide between dying to know and never wanting to know. I'm equally torn. Okay, I think I have to know just so I can know. I'm so
Okay.
nosy. I have
All
to
right.
know, but also
Yet.
please
I know.
never do it. So I never
I
have to
know.
have this
See, Rita,
conversation.
I'm being for realsies. But
Yeah.
anyway, given all of that,
Yes.
given all of those things, and yes, Kate will
I
have
know
it. Yeah,
she
no, I know.
will. What's
See,
the
Kate
problem?
will. Kate wrote an entire book. Believe me. That's like I'm
Yes.
saying. She's the one that, like, sometimes she gives me
God.
answers and I'm like, what do you want me to do? Well, okay. Anyway,
Mm.
but I mean, all that to say, though, all that to say that I do have, like, I guess, a leg up when it comes to that and aligning. I have a connection to my body, right? To my personal body, to know that that's not doing so good, or this is
Yeah.
not doing so good. But with the
I know it's
parenting thing,
sterile. Ew. Don't tell me it's sterile. I
you
know it's
guys,
sterile.
it absolutely, okay, let's not talk about pee. We're not going to go into the pee conversation.
Sorry, Lauren.
We're not going to do it because you have the biggest gag reflex on the whole planet, and I don't
I
want
do.
you to stop
I'm
it.
already
No.
struggling with the food I need to eat because
Yeah,
it's because
don't
of
do
that.
it. Don't do it,
Talk about
people.
an identity fucking crisis. Me
But
eating constant mush for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like my teeth don't even know what to do with themselves.
I don't mind all of that stuff at all. But all again, going back to the whole parenting thing, and like, I've never had kids that are, oh my gosh, Jess, stop it.
She said fresh.
Come on. Give me a break. Stop it.
Blech.
Um
All right, sorry. I think I'm past it now.
you no, you're not. Let's just forget about the whole conversation, because this is not good.
My face is just gonna be like this the rest of the time, though.
Yes, but we're going to talk about parenting middle schoolers in the age of chaos and the internet and AI and access and things that they've never gone through and all of that stuff. So I feel at a loss because
Mhm.
also I don't have a point of reference in in my life, in my head. No, nobody does really. How do you
Nope, they
stop
don't.
yeah, anyway, so that's where I am, and I feel it requires constant work. Like, it's the same way like resetting a diet.
Yeah, there's no handbook
No,
on
there's
the
no handbook,
exact way you're supposed to handle your kids and their screen time. Every kid is different.
but it's not even just screen time. It's what I'm saying. It's like everything. It's
But it's
like,
not
who
just
are they talking
everything.
to? Where
For
are
m
we? Like,
Yeah.
in terms of social interactions, learning math, how to deal with,
You
I don't know,
you have
diet,
extra
ADHD stuff.
service. You
Like,
have extra trouble, service, because you live so remotely. You have to think about what about math. I've only had to think about how to keep them from bullying each other or watching inappropriate things or like, having their brain turn into sludge. Like I've never had to worry who's going to teach them math,
but
science,
also
social
the
studies
fact that there's this,
because I don't homeschool.
like,
Right.
I reached out to Patrick to like help me with Maymay,
I
which
think
I
I saw it.
which I haven't like followed up, Patrick, believe me. But
She
still,
will.
and not to scare you off,
Right.
but this kid is astounding,
She's a hacker
brilliant.
basically, and she's 11.
I'm sorry,
Also,
what
she
did you
looks
say?
like she's a hacker. She's 11. She looks
She's
like an
12 and a
adult.
half.
She could technically be a
12,
US spy and
12 and
be
a half.
completely undetected. Is she?
Yeah,
God, she's 12
she's
and a
12
half.
and a
Really?
half.
Yeah.
So, yes, all of the things that Jessica said. Unbelievably bright, brilliant,
But also scheme
quick, insightful, and
clearly
presents.
demonstrates a desire to either shock you, offend you, or impress you with every sentence. At least for me. But I was a stranger. But I'm a stranger.
Yeah, yeah.
When I saw her, she was very clearly deciding which one was going to happen before she opened her mouth. Like she was either going to impress me, disgust me, or what was the other one I used?
Shock.
Yeah, or shock me. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, mostly she just impressed me, even with the shocking and the lie. Like all of it was impressive,
yeah.
frankly,
Plus,
because she was so
like,
skilled.
yeah. Plus the fact that I have no idea what's true or not at any given moment.
Wow.
And so there's that aspect where I'm like,
As
I
long as she knows,
don't
that's when
know.
you need to worry. I started worrying when Emily herself did not know what was true and what was not. Then it's a problem. Right now, she clearly knows.
Yeah, this is
You
not a
know,
good thing. But
that's
all that to
yeah.
say that this is also like a thing where, and then add to the mix my own ADHD brain going through menopause and what that does to the brain, because it
Yeah.
is not often talked about. And you think that there's something wrong with you. And then I'm sitting back going like, why can't I remember this? Why
From like
is
2
this?
years ago when you were my age? What do you mean? Are you not still going through all the same things or no?
What are you talking about?
Why can't you remember what?
Everything,
Anything or everything?
everything.
Wow.
Like, I have alarm clocks for
Oh,
almost everything that I need to remember. Like, oh, I have to do this thing.
Elsie, when
Oh, I
was the
have to
last
go.
time you had a vacation though? That might be why you can't remember anything and you need alarms.
No, no, no.
Does
This
your
is not
brain
on.
ever get a vacation though?
This is a new thing. I mean,
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
Well,
That's not what I meant to say. This is not a new thing. This is
all
an
right.
ongoing issue that is escalating because I can't hold all that stuff in my brain. It just does not go and it goes away. So if I don't see it in front of me, I will not do it. And so I need multiple ways of
Yeah,
reminding
me too.
myself to do stuff.
Actually, me too. Me too. Me too.
So it is like incredibly challenging.
It is. She says
Yeah, look,
the impact of
yes.
menopause on ADHD is
Yeah,
horrific. It
it
sounds
is.
great. But if you and also, and Elsie has the added disadvantage of not having been diagnosed until later. Like I was diagnosed early and I was able to teach myself when I became an entrepreneur at like what, at 30, I was able to teach myself ways of getting around my ADHD so that I didn't forget things. I became militant about certain things and lax about other things. And like she has to learn all that shit now.
But
Whereas like I
Jess,
did it like
I
20 years
I
ago.
I actually will push back on that because my coping skills for what was going on in my brain, I got those. What I'm
Patrick Dempsey
telling
has
you
menopause.
now is that
Mhm.
now, during this time of my life with going through menopause,
Mhm.
it has never happened to me before in my life. So it turns the ADHD knob
Yeah.
to
I
like
know.
way over. So even things that I know that I was never good at,
Mhm.
that I have my systems and I've worked through it. I mean, as always, I excel on all the stuff. I get things done. I do all these things. I mean, I've dealt with all of the things, but now it is escalated to
It
such a
is. It
degree.
is. It is. Like I have medication and there used to be a time where if I didn't have it or if I didn't take it, I could still function. Not anymore. If I don't have but if I don't have medication, I basically just stare out the window and wish that I could do the things on my to-do list, but I can't make myself do any of it. Like I'm useless without it. Post-it notes, alarms. Bree says, even write it on a post-it note what you need to do when you go from the living room to the kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we could
that's
say it's age, but it probably is menopause messing with your ADHD, which is kind of a shame. But like, um, isn't that shit just indoor? Like, doesn't the I'm saying if the medicine gives us dopamine, serotonin, just do that first before you work. Maybe then it'll be easier to remember the
dude.
shit. I don't know.
I know that you're saying, like, all I'm saying is that there hasn't been enough research done, that there is
True.
something remarkably different about the way my brain is working. It's not going to be solved. What I'm saying is, this is not a solution for hacks. This is something else. And that's where I'm like sitting back now going, holy shit, I have to now also manage going to a doctor, starting to advocate for myself, telling them these are the things that are really kind of weird and odd. And even though I have not been properly diagnosed with ADHD, there is a substantial difference in the way my brain worked 2.5, 3 years ago than what's happening with my brain right now. And you're not going to tell me, oh, you just need these things. No. There is
I didn't tell you you needed anything. It was just a
no,
suggestion to get
yeah,
your serotonin going.
yeah, but
I don't
it's
know what
like,
the fuck you need. I don't know what your problem is. I mean, because Scott was just diagnosed with late onset ADHD. Like, that's a thing. I didn't know that was a thing.
and I think that this is what happens with the with women and ADHD and menopause, is that there is a slow, or maybe the knob on the way that the brain is working and the neurodiversity of it all, that it stayed at a specific level most of my life, and then it just went it's like, I'm like, what the fuck, what the fuck.
You know, there's an app out there where you can write down, I mean, it has room or a checklist for every possible symptom you could have in every possible part of your body. And you write down all your symptoms every day. So, like, when I was heavier, I was looking into this because I was just trying to figure out, like, okay, my knee hurts, but then also my hip, but then also like my heart palpitates on occasion, but then also my eyeball is itch. Like I just would write down all the things. I mean, I gave up because it was just like, it was so much to do every single day. But I don't know. I wish there was an app where you could just, I mean, there is. You can type everything you're going through into Chat GPT, tell it your demographics. I did this to figure out what was wrong with Scott, though. Remember? He was
Yeah,
having that
but I'm
horrible
not,
stomach ache.
that's
I'm
not
trying.
something, I mean, I get it, I understand, but there's also, and I feel that this is the other thing too. It's like, I've always, like, I was just talking about this before, I've been very in tuned with my body
I
for
know.
a
But now your
long
body's changing.
time.
No, of course.
And
But it's
so then
cool.
when I feel these things, I know that there is an imbalance somewhere.
Mhm.
And from what I have seen about the whole ADHD thing and menopause, and plus just what menopause does to women as a whole. And I think the biggest frustration is that there hasn't been research really that has been done. There's minimal research. I mean, minimal, as in like just in the past 5 years or less.
Mhm.
So it's people are acknowledging to be able to do that. And now it's like, no, no, no. I'm telling you, there are some pretty huge things that are happening.
No, there are, and I know my suggestions sound like I'm diminishing the problem. I'm not. It's just I am trying to go down the path of things you can control versus things you can't control, which is the changing. But you can manage it until you can ask a doctor or until you have a long enough of a list where when you go into Asheville, you're like, who's handling this? What do I do with this list? Like I have a list, in one of my things. It's called shit that's fucked up. And it's like ringing in my ears. My eyesight is failing. Like I can't see with them and I can't see without them, or like my hair's falling out or my skin's really dry. Because this is before I had all the blood work I needed for the surgery. Before I knew, that I was diabetic and my kidneys are only functioning a little and my liver's all fucked up and and the diabetes is probably affecting my heart, my blood pressure, my cholesterol. So yeah.
Mhm.
But I wonder now if I look at that list, how much shit I can check off of it now, knowing what it is. It just takes like a panel of blood work or two, actually. And then, yeah, it almost is like that. Like I came home from the event in January and like within 2 days, I was off of food forever, like basically
Mhm.
forever. Like I just started on shakes and fucking powder proteins and shit. And like instantly, it was like instantly I could listen to my body in a way that I couldn't before. Instantly. And it's because it had no dairy, no sugar, no fat. It was just nutrients only so that I could be sustained. And all of a sudden, I mean, I definitely had energy. I didn't feel exhausted all the time. So I know that food causes that, but there's more too. It's like there are pains that I don't have anymore that I used to have. That could be from but I mean, now all of a sudden, the one thing that is good about the surgery is you are highly in tune to your body in a way that I used to try and look for classes or ways that I could be more in my body. This is the only thing that has ever done it, is me being slapped in the face with constant physical awareness.
Yep.
Um,
It's
and yet still I can't identify. I've had a lot of, when apparently when you have surgery and your body goes into trauma, it releases hormones. So I've had a few hormonal temper tantrums that I now don't know if they're menopause or surgery related, or if I'm just, because I don't get a cycle, right? Because I have an IUD. So like I don't even know when I have PMS or whatever. I probably never. So like it could be anything. All I know is like I had a really big what was it over? I think I told you about it. Oh, artificial sweeteners. I got very angry that I was eating
wow.
them, and so many of them. Like one sugar-free dessert at a Christmas party is not the same as all you can eat sugar-free jello, pudding, yogurt, popsicles. Like it's grotesque.
Wow.
I know. So like I had a big hormonal um temper tantrum over that. And also kind of about this podcast, like I just was like I got sad and I cried with real tears just for a minute. But like
That's pretty
I was
telling there.
I was sad for it. Yeah, also that I'm losing my damn mind, right? I was telling Lauren, my friend Lauren, like I have mastered the art of being dead inside. So this part of my
This
identity, I don't want back. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know you told me not to compartmentalize, which by the way,
Yeah.
you're the only person that knew what was happening there. But like yeah, I don't want to go back to like, I mean, I do want feelings, but not the bad ones. Can we just
Well, cuz see, this is what like I feel this first of all, I want to call out because this is bizarre. Fun fact, I have one big kidney. They're both connected, says
wait, is
Patrick
that
Keller.
everyone's kidney?
I no, I think it's just his. So, just calling that
What
out.
the
Thanks
fuck does
Patrick
that
for
mean? Your
sharing that.
kidney is a Siamese twin?
And so
What does that mean? Are they not
still
supposed to?
though,
I believe they are
it's
joined
amazing.
together on
Yes.
purpose.
And so now, and Bree, I'm shouting out Amy Fagan. She's doing a podcast with her podcast with a women's panel on menopause with real talk for women going through it. Would love to have you be a part of it. Oh, yay. We can do that. And I think that part of it is you're right. There is a sense of like feeling broken that we're going through all of the stuff. I get that. Now with the compartmentalizing thing that you were talking
Part,
about, Jess,
yeah.
this is something that I see, and this is why this is something that I see with my little one, right?
Mhm.
That there is a sense of removal from the feelings and the fact that the negative emotions, so the dark, sad, angry,
Shame,
frustration,
regret.
shame, like
Mhm.
all of those things,
Mhm.
she's removing from feeling. So she's developing a total wall against that.
Mhm.
And her coping mechanism, it's still coming out. It's coming out in a way that is harmful to her. Right.
Yeah, because
So
those feelings have to go somewhere.
right. And so that is like when you make choices that are harmful to yourself, to your
Yeah.
body. And so until they're telling you that, where you're saying, like, I don't want to know if I want to have these negative feelings, what are the choices that you were making that were harming to your body, that you were being harmful to your physical body? As
Yes.
you know, and so, and you knew that that's probably not the best choice, but you detached from that because
Mhm.
right, and so it has an out.
Yes. You're right. It
And
did come out.
yeah, it can
I know
come out.
exactly where it went. It went to candy and fast food after 10 p.m.
Yeah, and it's like, and you don't
And it was delicious, but
yes,
it's
but you don't
but it's very heavy.
consciously choose that. You know what I mean? You're not choosing
No,
it.
you do, but you don't. Like
You,
you are because you don't have anywhere else to put it. Like she has to put it somewhere, so it is going to be these harmful things because she's not
yes,
processing them properly.
right. And but
Yeah.
what I'm telling you too is that it's an unconscious layer that these choices are being made, and you might be able to have your conscious mind justify the
Mm.
choice as if you have power over it. So you say, of course I can stop having my snacks. Of course I can have, like, I don't want to go, like, whatever.
Right. I don't need
I'm
fast
in
food. Whatever. Right.
control of this stuff
Mm-hmm.
because I know how to handle it. But the truth is that you don't.
No, it's going to take a long time to learn. I know that.
Yeah. And
We're
so
learning it. We're learning it. And meanwhile, actually, I just had this conversation this morning, if
mm,
she's still watching, because she was very sad that she, I don't remember why or if she was feeling stressed, but she just went into the, the bad girl cabinet and found something that was for the kids and started to eat it and then spit it out. And I was like, but you can be kind to yourself too if you wanted something that tastes, but she was like, "No, I know I was there because of a bad habit and I don't want to do that." But you have to fuck up before it's like, right? It's like walking a roller skate. Like you have to fall before you know exactly what you're doing. So it's going to take me I've been daydreaming this week. I stopped daydreaming about cube cheese and now I'm daydreaming about Ripples, Utz, sour cream and onion and barbecue potato chips because I really can never have those again. It's too much sugar, it's too
mm,
much fat, it's too much salt. I have too many things wrong with my body that can handle any of that salt, fat and sugar. But I really did enjoy munching on them mindlessly. It was a good
mm.
time. I'm not going to lie. That was a real good time. So what do we do now? I don't know. I'm not having a
I
good
don't
time
know.
trying to suck down lime, sugar-free Greek yogurt. I'll tell you that.
It's a
That
whole,
was
I mean, it's
awful.
like, yeah, I think that it's, as an adult, think about the challenge that you're having as an adult to realign, to see all these things for yourself, to choose things differently, to go through the process of letting go of mourning, right? To
Yeah.
not being able to have those snacks and letting go of things that you used to do that were easy. Now you have to like redo all of them. And then most of them are fueled by you. Like you have to
Yeah.
essentially choose it. Now put that onto a tween who is going through essentially what I vision menopause, early menopause, like, meaning, you know what I mean? It's the same thing.
I mean, it's more
Going
like puberty, but okay.
That's what I'm saying. Puberty and menopause, I feel, are exactly the same.
Well, they're going in different directions, but
Right.
yes.
But it's so that's the up, absolutely. And
She's
to
gearing
know
up
that
for a long sex life, whereas we're gearing down from a
exactly.
long
And
sex life.
but
Not
the
really though.
fact that the brain development as a whole isn't where it needs to be, plus the ADHD,
Yeah.
plus all of these other, like, all, and the fact that she doesn't want to choose better.
No, you rarely do.
So then you have to sit there and kind of
I know.
guide. And
You have to
that
make
takes a
them.
lot of energy.
You have to make them sometimes.
And
And yourself, I guess. I'm gonna have to make myself, which is fine. I don't really wanna eat the potato chips. I'm just going to miss eating them. Does that
yeah.
make sense? Kinda like this podcast.
Yes.
And we're
No.
back to square one. I'm not gonna miss doing it. I just miss doing it. Like, I don't wanna do it. I just miss doing it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I mean, at
Yeah.
least, yeah, she has a good point. Like, at least May's brain is developing to the point where this will sink in. Not now, maybe. But, when her brain's fully developed, she'll go back to being, well, I don't know what I mean, honestly, she's been a character since
She
forever.
was
But, like,
born. I
she was
know.
born a wolf. So, like,
I know.
she will go back to at least making healthy choices for herself, however eccentric. Let's just say that.
Yes.
Because she's
Yes.
never not going to be eccentric because her mother's and father both are actually very eccentric. So it's okay. It's okay to be
Yes.
eccentric.
So we're good with that part of it all. But anyway,
Yeah.
we
Well,
should probably
after
start to wrap
2.
this up. But what do you
Yeah.
want to say to wrap it all up to the folks at home that are listening to our conversations?
Gosh. I mean,
Yeah.
should we say look for this new podcast or should we do one more and then tell people? Or
Why don't we just say, like, come with us as we transition we don't know what it is. We're in the middle of having it all shift, right?
yeah.
We are in the middle of it all. There's no reason for us to have to
Define it at this exact moment.
exactly
But it
or
is,
know how it's going to move and transition and be and
yeah.
what is it, we don't know, because here's the fun part about doing this podcast and knowing what I know now about podcasting, right? Because it's my career, it is my profession, and also it is a hobby that I love to do.
Yeah, I don't wanna
That
stop
if
doing it with you specifically. I don't
right,
know that
but
I could
all
have
I'm
a lot of other co-hosts either.
but what I'm telling you now is that if it was if I was hired, there are best practices to the rebrand, whatever
Oh,
that
I
is.
know, but we don't ever
But
follow our own damn
we
rules,
don't
do
follow
we?
that, no, and the thing
Never.
is, it can just be what it is for now, and then it'll be different when it is, and we can name it differently and shift it differently
Yeah.
and doing it all, like, it's just like,
We'll send an
even when
email, we'll post it in the group when it's ready and we have it figured out.
yeah, and and Rita was talking about that, she posted about what she went through. How would she say she didn't post it for 5 months?
5
So
months.
think about that though, because you're not ready. And one of the things that you're saying is like, I don't want to post on Facebook because you don't want all of these things.
I don't wanna have that persona per se.
That right. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's okay. It's all right.
Aw, I love this. I'm gonna say what Bree said, and this is how we're gonna end the show, okay?
Okay.
Hop in the car, come along with us. The adventure has begun, and though the path is undetermined, it will be a hell of a ride.
Yeah.
Wow, chef's kiss. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's
Brie.
good. Yeah, yeah. So we'll see
Thank
what
you, thank
happens
you.
and
All
what
right,
that
and
is
you, I'll
and
talk
who we
to
are.
soon.
I know, right?
All
Thank
right,
you for
love
hanging out with us.
you.
Mean it.